Hello everyone, welcome to Swinton in Greater Manchester, in Salford. This is our council here to be exact. And it's a bit of a Sim City town, and in the sunshine, I love it. I like most places in the sunshine, but it's a Sim City town because you have church, you've got down there, behind that yellow car a bit further on, you have police station, you have library, you have shopping area, and you have town hall. It's like a little Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox type little town. You half to expect a DeLorean to come shooting in with flaming skid marks. Anyway, that's Swinton. I think I'm going to show you guys a lot more of Swinton because I want to go local. I'm sick of getting a half-hour bus into central Manchester down there, spending money on the bus, just going in there to be antagonized by the great corporate rape that is modern society. It's a bit more backward here, maybe it's a bit more real. Anyway, what I want to talk about is, first of all, the renaming of certain words. Like, can we rename shoplifting? Like, don't shoplift from small family-owned businesses, small family butchers or shops, yeah? Don't do that. Don't fuck with normal, real people. But yes, fuck with the corporations. I mean, these companies, in their kind of corporatocracy, in their kind of government-corrupted corporatocracy, with backhanders and Swiss bank accounts and corruption and propaganda, when you shoplift from a big corporation, say Tesco's, or Debenhams, or Selfridges, or Harvey Nicks, or whatever, you know, big corporations, computer stores, the Apple store, you're not really stealing. You're reappropriating the people's assets. This doesn't sound like some crazy like communist takeover of like banking corporations and nationalization. But first of all, people need to stop thinking of themselves as citizens, as part of this fake man-made tribe called a country, with presidents and prime ministers and members of parliament, who, let's be honest, yeah, they may maintain stability, but in Germany, Hitler was very good at maintaining stability for a few years. Okay, disclaimer, for a few years. But Britain is an 1,000-year Reich. America is now a 250-year-old Reich. Is it 300 yet? Is America 300 yet? Switzerland, another 1,000-year Reich. France, they have a revolution every few decades, but you know, ultimately it's the same. Germany, yeah, Germany's had a bit of a funny history. Very interesting history, but ultimately the Western world, and now increasingly the Chinese world, the Japanese world, the Korean world, the Australian world, you know, all the world is basically one big neoliberal capitalist system. And there is institutional violence in that. Anyway, coming back to shoplifting, it's not. Shoplifting is people's tax. Call it people's tax. Look, as the world evolves, and whether it's violent or not, it's obviously not up to me. I'm just one bloke, one guy, just one little guy sat on the grass here in Swinton. But the system, the penal system, the criminal justice system could not cope if all the people, say, however many people are unemployed in this country, 5 million, 10 million, or even poor people who have jobs that pay a pittance. If you need clothes for your kid, if you need to feed your family healthy organic food, go and take it. I know many of you are very good at doing this discreetly and you don't get caught, but you know, the world, it's a jungle out there. And do you think indigenous tribes in the Amazon have to scan their monkey or their bananas, whatever they've been hunting, their possum, their jungle cat, do they have to scan that through a little laser scanner and then pay with a debit card or credit card or cash? No, they take it because all the spoils of the planet belong to you, they belong to me, they belong to that person there on that bus, they belong to everyone, they belong to my babies. And there is no such thing as theft from people who have stolen the world from you. Stealing from a thief, what's the word for that? Restitution. If you steal from the government, if you steal from the corporations, you're a hero in my book. It helps to bring chaos. It helps to make the system not work. It maybe will even help to wake people up to the idea that they're being fucked every single day of their lives. It's very hard not to get angry with what's going on, because in the time, even in the last exactly 5 minutes that I've been talking, how many people have died of starvation? How many rapes and murders? I mean, what the fuck is happening in the Ukraine? I'll tell you what's happening in the east of Ukraine. You've got angry men, pro-Russian militias, desperate for some new cattle branding. And they're like, oh, we are sick of the Kiev-based cattle branding. We want a bigger, more red-hot iron cattle brand on the back of our necks. Don't brand yourself. Which is why my group, a group, not my group, what the fuck? The group is called Indigene, because you are indigenous to this planet. You are made of the same basic elements as the entire universe. What is that? Nitrogen, carbon, oxygen, bit of calcium, and a few other trace elements, zinc. What's the yellow? Sulfur. You know, you're made of the exact same constitutions by percentage, exactly, as the entire universe out there. You are indigenous to this existence, to this totality. You are the most complicated creation of creation itself. You could very well be God in disguise, having a trippy experience, pretending that you're a flesh and blood, arthritic, Crohn's disease ridden, slightly insane maniac sat on the grass, when in fact I'm the most powerful being that's ever been, because I am everything. I am the mind of myself. I am the imagination of the universe, transmogrified through itself to try and be itself. The one thing I know for sure, and this is I know, I don't think, I don't suspect, I know, is that we did not evolve, as far as we can tell, for 13.7 billion years. That's as far as we know. I mean, how old is the totality? How old is existence? Does it have an age? Can you age infinity? Can you age everything that has ever been, that will ever be, that has ever existed in every fucking conceivable infinite dimension? No, you cannot. But one thing I know about this dimension, the 13.7 billion years that we can study and analyze in a materialist sense, is that we did not evolve this far to be struggling, to be competing against one another, to be fighting each other, to be using A-10 Warthog aircraft to fire massive amounts of depleted uranium onto civilian areas, creating birth defects on children. We did not come this far for the two main superpowers of the planet, Russia and America, to point thousands of thermonuclear warheads at each other's cities. Just like that, with the press of a button, we've given politicians the power to not only kill all our children, but to kill us all. It's insane. And people say, oh, Charlie, but it's mutually assured destruction. No, it's fucked up. Can you imagine if you lived in a house where you and your dad, or you and your mum, or you and your partner, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your wife, your husband, you went through your life, and you're like, yeah, everything's fine, diplomatically, we go to work, we make love, we raise the kids, we eat together, but all the while, you've got a knife at each other's throats, just in case, mutually assured destruction. I love you, baby, but you know, you step out of hand, I'll fucking stab you in the neck. That is the political situation of the world, and don't try and tell me it isn't. What else is 10,000 nukes pointed at each other, except a big fucking scalpel to your jugular? And like, yeah, look, on a very, very fundamental level, on the very kind of like, we are all free, we're all divine, there is no such thing as death, we are the imagination of ourselves, even on that level, just as something to do, let's not just fucking waste away in this capitalist fucking gangbang with people raping and killing and pillaging and oppressing. This is the thing. There's that great article in The Guardian. If I remember, I'll post it in the description below. Well, just look up Guardian, why capitalism isn't working. It's a new article. Very, very interesting. Very, very telling. And, you know, we all suspected this before, but sometimes it's nice to have a very eloquent economist actually back it up with facts. You know, it gives it that extra that it needs, a few facts. But even on a very fundamental level, we didn't come here to suffer. We came here to stand up for what we believe in. And like even for me, like when I'm out doing Love Police or Indigene or megaphoning or confrontations or even just talking to you now, I feel so good. I feel so alive. I feel like this is what we're meant to be doing. Not so much fighting back, but just re-establishing our own authority over ourselves. Not over each other, but our own collective authority to run this planet in a beautiful way that feeds every fucking starving African, that fucking stops the oppression of Chinese women having forced abortions, that allows people from whatever country to travel freely. You want to go to America, you want to go visit the Grand Canyon, you do not need a fucking visa. You go there because the fucking American government didn't invent the Grand Canyon. You know, simple things. And like, so, oh my God, everything will collapse and we'll all starve. Okay, here's how we're going to do it. People's tax, shoplifting is people's tax. Take it. We will not stop people having jobs. If people want to work in an office 12 hours a day or in a factory, you know, building things or doing things in their own workshops, if they want to be self-employed, entrepreneurial, if they want to discover a new way to get to the moon, or, you know, if Richard Branson wants to, you know, create galactic starships to take people into space for £50,000 a pop, that's fine. But what we, the people, are going to do is that we are going to reappropriate 5% a year of the collective GDP of this planet to house and feed and educate every single human being on this planet as was originally thought out in any healthy human being's brain. And within 10 years, at 5% a year, within 10 years we will have absolute parity with the banking oligarchs. The people will actually own half of their production. You see how this works? They've been tax farming us. It's time for us to fucking human livestock farm them. They've tried to oppress us. We will use their psychopathic, banking, materialist, fucking greedy energy. Yeah, sure. We will own them. If they want to destroy the planet, we will tax the fuck out of them. If they want to chop it down a fucking area the size of Wales or the fucking rainforest every month, we will use their money to replace it with 3 fucking Waleses every month. We will plant, we will rebuild, we will health, we will feed. We will do it. And we will do it or we will die trying, because what the fuck else is there to do in this planet except help the poor, the needy, the vulnerable, the oppressed? You know, if you have a spiritual, emotional moment when you suddenly realize that every single person is the child of God, is divine, is the imagination of the most powerful thing in the fucking totality. Every child, every suffering child, every disabled person, every human being who is crying right now doesn't need to cry. People vastly outnumber bankers and psychopaths and government people. I did a video, please watch it, please, please, please watch it. I shot it over there down by the council, the town hall. It's called Control Freakery Explained in Under 4 Minutes, and that is what we are arguing against. And I think things are going to get very, very interesting in the near future. Well, starting now, for me, for you, the viewer, for this planet, for the Russians, for the Ukrainians, for the Germans, for everyone, you know? Oh, for the Americans and that Bundy Ranch thing. Seeing all those Americans on horseback in cowboy hats, being free, just being human beings, going up to the fucking paratrooper feds in tanks, helicopters, machine guns pointed at them with fucking megaphones saying, "Step back, we have authority to shoot." Go fuck yourself. You don't need guns for this. What's the establishment in the West going to do? Start shooting its own citizens? They won't do that, because then they will lose any credibility or authority overnight, because even oppressed slaves know that you cannot just go and shoot fucking unarmed innocent people in the street protesting. They did it at Kent State University in the 60s, but they've not done it since very much, have they? Fucking assholes. People's taxation. Reappropriation of GDP of the economic system at 5% a year. It's a slow takeover. After 20 years, everything will belong to the people. I am not a communist. I am not a socialist. I reject all the isms of socialism, communism, capitalism. I reject any way of organizing and herding human beings into economic units. We are not fucking blood bags. We are not meaningless numbers on a government computer screen. We are divine human beings, sentient as provided by God on this planet to learn and to help each other. Anything else is fucking bullshit. And that's all I have to say today.